that they are not concerned with the others, but only with themselves. However, when I read the Theravadas, I do not detect one speck less concern or desire to help the others than I come across in the Mahayanas.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, they don't talk much about the Bodhichitta.
But they talk about their concern and love and help for other people just as much as the Mahayanas do. So to me,
actually, you know, as far as what I see Theravada monks do, I actually do see them doing more social work than from what I can see. I see Theravada monks doing more for people directly than I see Mahayana monks.
Mm-hmm.
So, that distinction is a path goal. They're achieving what we consider a nirvana that's an extreme of peace. It's a type of nirvana. But if we don't consider them as achieving a state of omniscience.
But they do consider themselves achieving a state of omniscience.
Sure, I'm sure, and it's just fine distinctions. And I probably don't have the knowledge to really debate the fine. They would say that we don't accept a certain amount of, like we've got wrong ideas about their scriptures. There's Theravada, a great Theravada monk that I listen to on a regular basis that doesn't accept the validity of the Abhidharma. Most Theravada monks accept the validity of the Abhidharma. But he says, no, they've got the wrong. Let's go with exactly what the Buddha said. You know, they say that we got the realms of existence wrong. I'm just giving you a standard straight presentation
right,
the way I was given.
But where I mostly hear those are less wonderful than we are is from the Mahayana, speaking of the Theravadas. I don't really hear a lot of this in the Theravadas talking, putting down the Mahayanas.
Well, maybe they just do it in close quarters.
Maybe so. They don't do it in their teachings.
Yeah. Well, no, they may get upset that we're just saying that that's not a perfected state. That's all. We're going for Buddhahood.
So are they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Permanent ending of your mental afflictions is not Buddhahood. Buddhahood is total omniscience.
So I'm really new at this.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that Buddhism, whatever factions or differences or schools of thought or whatever, but it's for us to want to, transcend and find peace from this life. But then if we get there, we can look back and say, well, I want to be of service and help other people to achieve some type of state of enlightenment or peace or...
Yeah.
And it shows us the way to do that.
Mainly, a Mahayana practitioner is a person who has bodhicitta with a motivation in everything that they do. Frankly, I don't have that. I have more of what would be considered by Mahayana as the Hinayana motivation. I want to get out for myself. I want to get to Nirvana and Buddhahood for myself. I really don't wake up every morning with the thought of, I think I want to get Cheerios and a cup of coffee for me. We're just talking about motivation and goal. To a Mahayana practitioner, the mind that cherishes the self is the demon in this type of life. There is no devil really so much in, Rinpoche often talked about demons and spirits, but in Mahayana Buddhism, a devil is self-cherishing, is cherishing yourself over all others. But particularly that self-cherishing is based on a misperception which sees you as existing inherently and sees that external phenomenon having an inherent existence. But that's a little bit about the emptiness, and we're going to go on about bodhicitta tonight. So doing virtues with renunciation will achieve nirvana. But doing virtues with renunciation, with that kind of wanting to achieve enlightenment, wanting to get out of suffering, wanting to get to enlightenment for the benefit of others, ripen into a state of Buddhahood, which is what our goal is. And there are many ways to go about getting to Buddhahood. The selling point of Tantra, or doing Vajrayana practice, is that you could do that in one lifetime. there's many debates about, well, if I do this and I get that result, then I only have to come back 7 lives. There's a lot of debates like that, and this goes way back to the time of the Buddha. The once returner, the non-returner, all these kind of classifications. I want to do it as, I'm an American, I want to do it as quick as possible. So eventually, the goal of all Tibetan Buddhism is to eventually get into the Vajrayana system, which is you have to have a very qualified teacher and do it in this life with a proper understanding of emptiness. Okay, so the lineage with this came to teaching the Lojong. This essentially is a teaching on Lojong, or mind, often called mind training. It also could be considered heart training because it's not like you're going to be doing some intellectual pursuit and then at the end of it you're going to come out with, algebra or trigonometry. It's not like you're training your mind, you're training your heart. This Lojong text came from Shakyamuni Buddha, and then it was transferred to Lord Manjushri, then Lord Shantideva, then many the lineage teachers from the widespread activities, which is the Bodhichitta lineage, the guys that you see on the right there, on that tanka. And then it came to Lama Sarlingpa, who was the teacher of Lord Atisha. Lord Atisha came to Tibet as a reformist. Lord Padmasambhava came to Tibet and taught these great teachings. Then, as people will do, they degenerated them. And by the time of Lord Atisha, people were... Lord Atisha is the creator of that refuge tree. He once came upon a Kadampa. Kadampas are the early Buddhist practitioners. We are the Kadampas of America. The early fanatical Buddhists. Tibetans now are like Irish Catholics. They're the ones that can curse out the Buddha. They're the ones that can hang out. They're the ones that don't really have to think about this stuff because they're Tibetan. They're Tibetan, therefore they're Buddhist. It's become culturally inculcated. We're the fanatical, read by the book, every vow kind of people. And those kind of people in Tibet were called Kadampas. So Lord Atisha comes upon a particular Geshe, who I'm forgetting his name, and he says he sees all this practice stuff, and he's like, well, maybe I'm really not needed here. You guys seem to, maybe I should go back to India. I really miss the food. Besides, you people are a little dumb. The Indian pundits used to always say that Tibetans are really dumb. Whenever they'd write teachings for the Tibetans, it'd be like 2 pages because the Tibetans couldn't handle anything more. And and then he's like, well, what's all the stuff you got going on here? And so he had one practice for one teacher, one practice for one Buddha. He had different, in his room, all these different mats for all those different practices that he was doing. And he's like, so you're doing that tantra and that tantra and that tantra, and you're doing that over there, and you're keeping that vows over there? Like, maybe you guys do need me, because, that refuge tree is a direct result of that realization that Tibetans, if they take on a practice, like if they go for some empowerment, like in Manhattan you go for empowerment, and then, I gotta keep that practice, I gotta keep that practice, I gotta keep that practice. Pretty soon you've got 8 practices you have to be doing every day. And so Lord Atisha was instrumental in gathering all that stuff together, all those deities, all those Buddhas. But you don't have to go from one Buddha to another practice, to another practice. It's mainly having an understanding of emptiness, having pure renunciation, an understanding of emptiness, and bodhicitta. And then anything you do with that correct view and that bodhicitta in your heart becomes a Dharma practice. Let's see. So the only reason for telling you who this came through is that in our lineage, some Buddhist schools wouldn't accept it, but we believe there's a blessing